Hello everyone and welcome to my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobbie and I will be your guide for today. I am going to channel some messages through. I have written some messages down this week and I did put them up on Facebook, but I've got a lot more to give. Today's topic is about the collapse of consciousness into singularity. That's the message that they were pulling through for me. But before we start, just want to let you know I have a school called Amicable. If you want to go there, there is a lot of like 100 lessons and telepathic games and so forth you can delve into. I also have Codes to a New Reality. A new video has just gone up on that YouTube channel. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So go take a look at that one. I've actually rehashed something from a while ago about missions and mission statements and stuff and who you are and is this a mission for you? That sort of thing. Anyway, you go have a look at my Codes to a New Reality YouTube if you want to go check that out. It's brand new, just put up yesterday morning. I also go live twice a week here. I do channeling on Tuesday, usually do channeling on Tuesday and channeling and tarot with free chat bar messages for those in the chat bar section. On Thursday. Anyway. Is there anything else? Yes. And now I want to just, before we just go into this new consciousness that's collapsing into itself. Hey, Wade, good to see you. I do want to touch on something that my messages have been coming up with, especially last week. They were really getting us into how to face fear straight in the face. And I kept bringing up that there was going to be more and more mayhem coming our way, because of the way that this is collapsing in on itself means that those who understand themselves more and have a lot of love for themselves are literally infiltrating, as well as the solar flares that's coming our way with higher frequencies, infiltrating those that aren't willing to look at themselves inwards. And that means that they will act outwards, because that's all they've been taught to do. They'll just try to control their outer world, or bring down reality into a place, where it doesn't even exist to them anymore. So we had a massive, I'm really sorry to say, we had a massive shootout in Sydney at Bondi Beach here in Australia. So sorry to all those that were affected with that. It's not a pleasant thing to go through, but as a whole, we need to realize that more and more of this could be happening as we move into these higher frequencies, to try to keep them in the background as much as possible, because you holding the higher frequencies is helping others shift into that state of awareness where peace resides in the end, and that's where we really want to go to. If we get caught into the whose fault, what is it all about, then that sort of thing, we get sucked into those storylines, and we can bring that sort of stuff towards ourselves out of fear, because fear is a focus, just like love is a focus, and focus is what magnetizes towards us. So just be aware of these things. I have been bringing them up in the last channelings, that things will go scoff around the world quite a bit as we enter into this funnel of that pure essence of love, and it's literally showing up for everybody to look at now. So we will get into this channel message. Anyways, thank you, Wade. Yeah, sending out prayers, obviously. Good vibes and healings and all that sort of stuff as well. But for your own benefit, try to see it from a non-judgmental point of view, that it is part of the shift, and people will lash out because they don't want to do the inner work, and the only way that they can control reality is to control outside of them. That's the only way that they have been taught how to control things. But when we learn to do this inner work, we realize we can shift realities from within us. And that's going to change everything when people start to realize they don't have to, that their feelings do matter, how they feel and all of that. And they need to look at how they feel instead of blocking them, their feelings. In any case, we'll get into that because it does come up a little bit with this consciousness is collapsing into one singularity message. Good morning, Making Living Art. Good to see you. I'm a bit earlier this morning. I have my daughters coming over. We're having a mock Christmas because they're busy, have other relatives and stuff to go see at Christmas. So, and I wanted them to go shopping with me when the shops were open. So we're having Christmas Day today. So yeah, I'm doing this early because of that. Okay. Anyways, here, let's get into this. Consciousness. Now, I'm going to read some of this that I have on my phone that I've put down notes to. Let's show that. And then we will discuss and we will see what else channels through as well. This is all channeled messages. I have not copied any of this from anything. It's just channeled messages. So we start off with consciousness is collapsing into one singularity as you. You are the composer and director of your life. It starts and ends with you. And when we start to realize that, you know, we've obviously, through compassion of ourselves, we feel compassion for others. Others become our reflection of ourselves. Our outer world is part of us as well. Everyone that is in your reality, in the room, in the, you know, as you walk down the streets, they're all part of your reality, and how you deal with them is how you're dealing with the parts of yourself. That's what singularity is. It's coming back to self and understanding that everything outside of you is you. It's not an egotistical self where there's only just me and nobody else exists in the world. No, that's not it. Self as in the God self, the connection to all as one. And that means that everything in your reality as it happens moment to moment is how are you reacting to those other people, to those other subjects, whatever it is, to that circumstance. How are you reacting? Constantly bringing yourself back to, are you coming from compassion, love, from feeling into this, or are you coming from denial, blockages, fear, that sort of thing? It went on to say, this channeling went on to say, each note is a frequency alignment or a choice, a decision, a belief, focused on an outcome that you either desire or fear to have happen, causing reality to meet that decision in ways you have already experienced within your mind, but with variables of how your outer world is resisting and accepting you in each and every moment. Also, as you work with others who also have their own creator or their own composition of story, that's why it's so important to only allow or include others into your reality, and even to watch what entertainment are you watching that work with the creation that you want. So I would in the singularity moment keep coming back to myself as a singular person and asking myself, is this person a viable person? Are they creating the similar creation that I'm creating? Or are they going to be in resistance to my creation? And of course, we don't judge others if they are, because they could have a beautiful creation with another. And judgment should never be a reason to not be with another. It's just a feeling that we go into, feeling in each and every moment, is this person necessary in my life or are they not? That sort of thing. The cat's got the zoomies. Hey, Misty, you got the zoomies? So excuse her, she's flying around the room. Yes, so this can be moment to moment as well. So we can say, yes, that person feels right in this moment. And then in another moment, no, this person does not feel right. To an outside person, they might think you're finicky with your choices of who you allow in and don't. But you know yourself better than anyone else in the moment that you're living. And that's really important to understand that. Your physical reality shows up once you've made a definite decision as an outcome. Your physical reality will show up as you made it. So you've already made a decision, and then what happens is you've made a decision within yourself. It's an absolute, and that word absolute is a clarity of what you're stepping into. But the problem is most people are, I have a clarity of that problem's going to rear its ugly head again. I have a clarity of such and such is going to tell me, I'm useless. I have a clarity in that sort of thing. We have to realize what we're actually manifesting here. So in this coming to a oneness of understanding that everything is a reflection of ourselves, our clarity of deciding on what we really, really, truly wish in this reality is more important than holding on to a worry or a fear that might or might not happen. Because people will walk into a room and they will feel you and they will react as that you are expecting. They're bringing me to little babies that are born, and they're born from the spiritualness. They're born from energy, obviously, and they are born into this world, like in a 3D world. They grow into this world. But as they're growing into this world, they are looking outside themselves for someone to steer them in a direction to handle this outer world. They literally don't even know what the outer world is like until they start to grow up into it, and the programming's pulled over them and that sort of thing. But when they're really, really little, they will only feel into their parents. They won't understand them. They are telepathically feeling into their parents. And if their parents have in their heads, oh, I've got to overprotect this child. This child is going to fall over all the time. I'm so scared that they're going to get into trouble, blah, blah, blah. Then the child will start acting as that. They will be the reflection of that. And that's the programming that we have to also go back and release, because we realize that we were led astray by somebody who was already out of balance. Our parents were out of balance. Our parents were in a calming, peaceful mindset that was walking this plane of existence through love and compassion. They were worrying in survival mode and in fear. And so we take on the responsibility to play that out as well. And this is why the powers to be that are trying to keep the limited concept of reality capped, as in their reality that they want only, are now even in Australia asking children, or they're telling children to go to school a year earlier, like starting school at 4, and it's ridiculous, and 3.5, and it's just they're trying to pry that or stop that natural progression of children that are more aware and understanding their soul's alignment over their parents' teachings. So that's another thing that's coming up as well at the moment. That's shifting because we have been allowing more awoken children, and awoken children I mean that are children that are very aligned to their soul. They understand their soul, and they trust in their soul over what has been taught to them outside themselves. They trust their own feelings and their own gut. If you want to step into frequencies aligned with your desires, your dreams, and your desires, then your desires and your dreams need to be worth more than proving to others and to yourself that your fears are justified. we are constantly in our heads, and when we're in our heads, we are constantly trying to justify the reason why we're in our heads, the fears that we have, the protection that we have. Oh, that person, there are people, bad people out there, but you're aligning with the bad people. As soon as you start to think that there's bad people out there, that is the magnet that's been drawn to you. There's nasty people on the road and they're going to cut me off. You are drawing them to you. They're literally, the people behind you are already in a state that is reflecting your awareness. You come together, you leave earlier to go on that trip, and you literally bang into all those people. This is the frequency alignment, and the singularity that we come back into ourselves is just peace. It's just unification at the central point. But when we move out from that central point, are we trusting our soul's alignment, which is more of a faith and a living in the moment, or are we trusting our minds and telling us that, there's a lot to fear outside of ourselves, which is then collapsing into that fear becoming your reality. This collapse will show itself as, I love this, how they're pulling it together. So here we go. We're going into one space of, and when we come into one space, it can only be love, because that's all that really exists. Everything else is a denial of that love. Everything else is denial. Love is the only thing that really truly exists. Authenticity is love. And that means acceptance of yourself as a whole, of who you are in each and every moment. So it's not like, oh, you're the good person or you're the bad person. It's an acceptance of you are the person. They're bringing me to something that happened with me. I was with some beautiful friends, the new friends. And then there was one person that was trying to give, it was an older lady, and bless her. But she kept going up to everybody to try to give readings to everyone. And it was just not coming from a place. It was coming from a place of graspiness. It was coming from a place of needing attention. And it wasn't feeling right for me at all. And so when she said, "Can I give you a message?" She'd been chasing me around trying to give me this message. I just said no. And in that moment, it felt right. And others were like, whoa, how can you say no? She's a little old lady. And I get it, but the energy was so not right. And everybody that was saying yes to it was saying to her that she should be graspy. And that's not the way to move through life. So how could she learn the lesson? So love isn't always a beautiful story. Let's put it that way. We have to see it for what it is in the nature of self in the moment, and that's what I did. So I would absolutely, if it's coming from the right place, I would be there. I would help. And I have listened to her. But in that moment, I felt like she just needed a no, to understand that graspiness isn't something that the world needs, and she doesn't need that. She needs to come from her heart space a lot more. So love doesn't always look beautiful. Let's put it that way. But it's authentic. I hope I don't get any backlash for that, but okay. If I do, I do. Okay, so this collapse will show itself. I love this though. This collapse will show itself as science agreeing with spiritual masters. So scientists are going to get so into their science and into understanding things from such a small kind of inner world thing, that because it meets energy, that they meet spiritual masters. And if they do have a look at what spiritual masters have been saying, it'll be exactly the same. So science is going to meet with agreeing with spiritual masters. mathematicians morphing into understandings of frequencies. So mathematicians are going to do all this math, and that's all outside of us, right? It's just like science is all outside of us. But it's going to, in this collapse of singularity, it's going to come into, oh my God, that is a frequency. That math equation can match a frequency. And I get now where the math is going, because it is in alignment with this frequency, which is moving towards a certain direction. So that movement and direction of the frequency is also in the equation that I am pulling through. I'm no mathematician, right? But I'm just channeling this message. So, our outer world being seen as a manifestation of our inner world. That's going to be the collapse. Oh my God, everything outside of me is already residing within me. I see why the stories are coming in, why I'm starting to see coincidences outside of myself, because I'm aligning with my soul, which is now pulling into magic. It's like literally the soul is where the magic is hidden. It's like my inner work and my feelings and everything that I'm moving through with this feminine power is where the magic is, because logic is only looking outside itself, and it needs everything to be in a storyline. But the soul doesn't. The soul, when you leave this reality, you end up passed over, right? So you're not in the body anymore. So you end up realizing that there is your timing, everything can be all sorts of things. You can go into when you were a child again, you can manifest things just like that. What your thoughts become your reality, what you are vibing with becomes your reality. Let's put it that way. What you're vibing with becomes your reality. Your imagination is literally manifested before you. And if you have no sort of control over your imagination because you haven't been taught to while you're alive, then that can get a little pickle on the other side too. So there's that to watch out for. This is why it's so important to be able to control or understand our imagination as well. We're not taking down this journey of somebody telling us what to imagine. We use it for the benefit of ourselves. Okay. As this is where the masculine and feminine finally get each to meet each other as no longer the enemy, but as part of a whole experience we have been denying ourselves. So yeah, and that's going to start to show up in our relationships. And I noticed the last few years, so many more posts coming up about how the masculine steps into its power, because it's been denying its power. It's been infiltrating this reality, but it's not been in its power. It's been in a fear game itself and trying to cap the feminine because of the fear, or the feminine because it's also had a fear within itself. It wouldn't be able to match the feminine. So when we meet in the middle and we realize we're the same power, we're source energy, we're oneness, split into different ways of looking at life, either looking at life outside of us in a practical manner, in a separated version of ourselves, very logical, or in an inner world, inner power of connection and unity, and realizing everything is me as well as I am everything, and the magic that comes with that. So we're going to have a lot more, and I said this just before, like in the last year or so, the masculine are waking up to their power more, and that's going to help the feminine people who are more feminine, or the feminine side of ourselves, to be feeling safer to express itself in this reality where we have been hiding our magic, literally hiding our magic up till now. But in the singularity, when it all collapses in, we have to meet each other. And when we meet each other, the masculine meets the feminine, it has to be with respect and honor and realizing that there's way more to us. Yeah, I do get back into that a little bit more, I think, down here. Also, where competition ends and creation begins. So the competitiveness is to do with how we're seen in the outside world, but we don't feel that. So many people who have so-called won in this world feel terrible within them, and they have survivor's guilt, they have or they have an ego to boot that doesn't align with anything. So inside they feel small, and yet they have accomplished something outside them. But it's when we meet, when the inner world is sparked as the magnificence that we are, that we realize we are energy going on a journey, we're love going on a journey. We are met with that, with the outer world, our understanding of our outer world. And then that's where our boundaries come in, and we start to realize who we allow into our world, who we don't, what stories are working for us and what they're not. So all sorts of everything's going to shift because of this collapse into oneself, understanding oneself as a whole person. When I was working with the Cherokee elder, she sat us all in front of us and said, "You're all crazy. You're all mad." We're all what? You're all insane. That's what she said. You're all insane, because humanity was insane. We weren't working with a whole self. We were afraid of our own power, and we didn't realize that with that power comes compassion. With that power comes feeling. And so we can't meet in that singularity or that feeling of oneness within ourselves until we have met ourselves as love going on a journey. It goes hand in hand, because you have to feel more to be able to understand this. And to feel more, you have more compassion for everything that comes in your reality. I tell you what, the amount of times I've gone online and watched, people who are giving a lot, giving houses to people who are poor, or animals that are in shelters. And the amount of times I bawl my eyes out every time it affects me, because I see it for what it is, and the value of. Also, there's two sides. It's like I feel for that separate being going through that. But I also feel the shift in humanity's consciousness and showing up outside of us as compassion. And it's so beautiful. So there's two ways that I'm crying. But it just affects my heart big time when I see those sort of things. Okay. For you, we'll get into you. Hey, everyone in the chat bar. Liz, Sky, Yannicka, good to see you guys. Jeannie, good to see you. I should make Sky I just realized something. I'm just going to add Sky as a monitor. Any case, for you, it will show up. It will show up as peace. Now, I've already felt this because they gave me a snippet of it before I came to Australia. There was like a literal months on end where I was in the zone. And that's where we're going. We're going to go into the space of being completely in the zone. And it's just peace. It's acceptance of everything that happens. You don't lose your desire to do anything, by the way. If anything, it expands it, because you have no fear of, you can shift the story, so you don't have as much fear going into the story, and so you're not limited as much, and so you end up actually expanding. It's really funny. We think we're going to lose ourselves when we come into love and compassion and all of that. Sometimes we feel like, we're all unified and we're all the same. No, it's not like that. at all. We still have, our souls are all been on different journeys to come to this point, to decide to come into this body. Our souls have been on many, many, many different journeys, and we've all got something to offer and gift to each other. But it's just a acceptance of that authenticity, and it can come with great power. So to accept that you are telepathic, to accept that you are telekinetic, I mean, that's huge, right? And it's not coming from an ego of pretense or anything like that. It's coming from an actual pureness. That at this collapse, we start to realize the power of the feminine that was repressed comes with all these gifts, and because it can feel more. And when you feel more, you understand more. There's more wisdom in the feelings that you allow within your reality. So those that are actually born empathic and have had a really tough time in this new phase that humanity is going into are going to absolutely shine, because they've already dealt with a lot of their feelings through the shadow work anyway. And then there's going to be those that have denied their feelings. Well, they're going to have to learn to work in those feelings as well to be able to access some of these gifts. Either way, it doesn't matter if you're coming from a more logical base or a more spiritually based person. You still got to do the work as you move along into the singularity, and because it's a unification of everything. Everything is just as it is. There is no judgment on anything as you move forward. So for you, it will show up as peace, as what really matters to you as you move through your life, making decisions based on your inner desires and asking the negative narratives of your mind to just quiet down enough for you to feel again. So that's you starting to come into singularity, because now you're like, I'm not listening to the negative narrative, which is screaming, all this negative stuff in your head. You're doing it to yourself, but it is there. You're saying shush to it, enough to quieten down, to actually feel again, to be able to connect to your soul, to be able to unify that logical mind that's been in fear and screaming, trying to be in power too much, which has been reflected outside of us as this power game, exactly the same. It's all, when it happens within here, it starts showing up out there for the whole of humanity. The more of us that do this work come into singularity for ourselves, understand that both are needed. Everything is needed. Everything exists. Whatever exists is needed. It's either a lesson or it's an advantage point for you. This will mean you will feel compassion for more and make decisions through compassion instead of fear and overprotectiveness. Your boundaries will also tighten as you include you as a priority of what energy you let into your life. You will start to live in the moment and trusting the outcome you are passionate about being fulfilled, to magnetize your way without limiting the experience to only one way that it can happen. So you're starting to realize that. Sorry, I got a bit of brain fog at the moment and trying to just still my mind so I can tune in a bit better. See, that's what I mean. Acceptance, it's interesting that even happened. Even acceptance of the brain fog, being clear to everything and everyone. When we're telepathic, when we're communicating through feelings, there is no hidden agenda. You cannot lie, because when you lie, it's just really, you feel it. It's very obvious. Oh, you're trying to deceive me. That's interesting. But then we have to take ourselves into account. How are we going to react to that? Are we going to pretend like we didn't feel it? A lot of empaths have been doing that all their life. Yeah, I see that you're lying. Okay, but we have to fit into this world. Okay, I'll pretend that it didn't happen. That sort of thing in this next phase, through clarity and coming back into alignment with being authentic to self, cannot happen. This is why we will say no to people that are coming at us with the wrong energy. And so we've set very strong boundaries. The boundaries become stronger as you feel more, because you're now aligning yourself, or you're moving into a path that's aligning with creating something absolutely friggin' beautiful and wonderful at the end of the story. If we allow all this ickiness to come in and say that we have to fit into the ickiness, then we're not aligning with this beautiful outcome of the story that we really want to manifest in the end. And so that's the importance of understanding. We think, oh, if we're all loving and caring to everybody, that we're doing the right thing. No, we're not. We're in denial of ourselves. We're victimizing ourselves. We're putting ourselves in a victimized kind of a drama to try to fit in. So it doesn't work. And this is where coming back into self-alignment is understanding that the more we feel, the more we need stronger boundaries, the more we have to be able to say no to what doesn't suit us in each and every moment. And also to give the benefit, not judging that moment, not judging that person, to allow a benefit for that person to shift into a higher frequency with you. Because if you're judging them, then you're already set in your head that they're always going to be that person. So you're never allowing for expansion of the person. So then they can't be around you if they want to grow, because you've already got it in your head for the rest of your life that person's a negative person because you've had one altercation with them. It happens naturally, though. This all happens naturally. Like, we're like, oh my God, I got to watch out for that too. Oh my God, I got to watch out for that and that. Well, that's coming from a logical mind. When we're actually in this singularity of understanding and acceptance and no judgment, it happens naturally. When we do find that we are judging or we are holding on to a story, that's where we see a resistance, and it's within ourselves, and that we can use it as a lesson for ourselves to clear, because we want to live more purely in the moment as we go along. But it's also understanding that we have a program of a logical mind that is got a story, A to B to C to D, and natural progression, how that story actually plays out, so that we can have this linear experience as well. And if you really, really love and accept that, and you're more inclined to feel safe in that, or more inclined to feel, safe's not the right word, to feel in line with that, there's nothing wrong with that either. Because there should be in this world, this big, beautiful world, people that are more inclined to be more logically based and people that are more inclined to be more feminine based, so that we can have these stories playing out. But there's more of a love acceptance of those people, rather than, oh, you shouldn't be like that because you're not like me. You shouldn't be like, you should do my story, not your story. That is coming to an end when we come into just the singularity of love in the center of ourselves. That's where humanity's compassion is collapsing into. This is what we're collapsing into. But definitely, as we collapse into that, those that are always been the perpetrator of the feminine, or the perpetrator of the masculine even, they will find, if they're trying to control their outer world to navigate this world, and they're coming from a very imbalanced state, they will be the ones that start attacking. We've got to start to realize that this is going to happen as we get closer and closer. So whenever I get into a relationship, the guy kind of thinks that he can handle my vibration, but then I'm just me, and then they end up like they have to look at themselves, because I show it up in the way that I am, because I'm just coming from love all the time. And then they have to look at themselves there, and they don't want to, and so they run. And it happens so many times with me. But this is the beauty of this pulling together. we're going to meet those that are doing the work in the opposite way. So the masculine that's awakening to the feminine power and the feminine that's awakening to the masculine power are going to start to meet. We are going to have through this next phase a meetup of many very powerful couples, relationships, and even if it's not couples, groups, very powerful groups that know, like they swim together, they understand each other and their acceptance of each other, and they just love that part that maybe they are still looking at finding within themselves, but an acceptance of it, they can learn from it. If you're in resistance of it, you cannot learn from it, and so you will walk away. Yeah. Crikey. Do any of you follow Stephen Burns for Space Weather? Atlas. Oh, Atlas. That was the other thing that I was wanting to bring up a bit about as well. Very cool. Thanks, Jeannie. So very interesting what's happening at the moment, and I might actually add this into the title. Because of this coming together, we in our outer inner world now starting to understand the power of both masculine and feminine power within us uniting, outer and inner worlds uniting. We are drawing in to us many others outside of us, benevolent beings, different energies, and they are showing me the exit. Oh, far out. I really wish I could remember the name of that. Sorry. It starts with E. It has a K in it and a Z. Ekazel wheel. Anyway, it's like a wheel within a wheel. And they're showing me it's like benevolent beings returning. And I've had a discussion with Sky over this, but she's definitely had dreams and stuff as well. But there's something about Atlas 3I and the return of the master energy, the return of those that it's almost like the resonance field. So say for instance on Atlas 3I Atlas is carrying a resonance field or vibration of masters, of benevolent beings, ETs, whatever you want to call it, that are masters that have understanding of earth. And then souls are born on earth that have that resonance as well, which has been asleep for this duration of time. And now that they're pulling past us, like it's coming really close by the 19th. And as it's going past Earth, it's like the vibrational tuning forks. If there's an A tuning fork and an A tuning fork, and you bang the A tuning fork with, you knock it and it starts vibrating as an A. If this is an A2, it will vibrate as well. So we have two tuning forks vibrating, even though we only banged one. We only vibrated one. So I'm seeing that happening as 3IAtlas comes around. It's like a tuning fork to awaken the masters within us, an understanding or a vibration that you are attuned to, that understands the journey of that master has gone into. And you would have already had little snippets of this in your life, whether you went into Christianity and Jesus and that sort of thing, or whether you went into Buddhism and so forth. All of them do meet in the central collapse as just love going on a journey and understanding all as a wholeness. But there are story alignments where your mission will be ignited through this, coming closer, because your mission is in alignment with your soul. Your soul resonates at the same frequency as these higher benevolent masters that are coming in through this, something to do with this wheel. I know that it's a elong object and it's rotating. Sorry, I'm seeing it rotating all sorts of ways. There's some sort of vibrational meat here. I've also felt that the Anunnaki have something to do with this. Then I was told all benevolent beings are coming there, and so I saw it as a ship. But now I'm starting to see it as a frequency alignment more than anything, as it's coming through. And I've been very, very, very hesitant to even speak up about 3IAtlas because I felt like I wasn't getting the full picture, and I wanted to have the clarity but I did mention a few times about my interactions with the Anunnaki and so forth, and their ship coming through as a pretending to be a comment. I've seen that back in I saw it in the sky happening. And my girls were small. It was 2015, I think. And it was a return, and I've been told that they're returning, and I've been waiting for this one. So that's really interesting as well, because I had these angels imploding into my room, four angels on four white horses. And then I sat up and said, I've been waiting for this one. They're coming soon, not just yet. And this was early 2000s. So now they're bringing that up in my head as in waiting for this one. I think that there's going to be a frequency alignment with certain people, certain souls on this plane of existence that will be like quite a few of us. Maybe it is 144,000 that are going to return back to their authentic truth as ascended masters. They're holding the same energy. It's the same energy, and we all together have this something that's going to shift everything. So the stories outside of us that have been, the fear-based stories of how the world is actually practically moving is all going to be shattered, because they came in through the window to me. It was huge. My whole window, glass flying everywhere. It was huge to me. I saw this as a vision, but it was very, 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 very real to me. Very real to me. It wasn't just in my head. I woke up and saw this happen. So with the shattering of the glass, I'm starting to now understand this is the shattering of the illusion that humanity has been driving through. And the only thing that can shift illusions, really, when we come back to the energy of everything, is frequency. And that's why they're calling it the collapse of the collapse into one singularity. Recognizing ourselves as oneness, the wholeness of who we are, aligning with all of our soul's past lives as well as this life the journey that we've gone on in this life, and who we are in this moment. But when we bring in all those soul's past lives, and it resonates now, we understand it. Our logical mind understands. Our logical mind can now see the magnificence that we've been hiding from within ourselves. We start to bloom and share these newfound wisdoms and light energies and understandings. It's just we're walking, talking frequencies, and our story can shift at any given moment because we have learned to control that logical mind that was taking over for so long. And we say, no, this is not your place to create. Your place is to hold the story in this physical world, not to create. So I need freedom to be able to create my story into something that's blissful, that's beautiful, that's conducive for all. It's very cool. See if there's any more messages here. This is the time that you take up the part you play in this world that you were meant to take up. That's so interesting, because I put that right at the bottom of this long message this morning. And now that I understand that there's a frequency that's coming towards us that is helping us return to more magnificence, or aligning, or certain. I don't think it's everyone that's going to understand that frequency of ascended masters, but there's definitely a lot of us, more than what there ever has been on Earth, all at the same time. And they're going to be at all different ages. They're spaced out. They're showing me all different ages, so that maybe some people would listen to a child talk, or do something remarkable, and it shifts them. Maybe someone will listen to a teenager. Maybe someone will listen to an adult. Maybe someone will listen to someone who's older, like me, who's 58, who's an elder. So we're all spaced out, and we're all also spaced out, like location-wise, also on Earth as well, to hold frequencies too. So when that all happens, the grid is solidified. There's a grid that is created through us becoming more aware of ourselves as the energetic alignment of ascended masters. This isn't an ego-placed thing. This is a frequency feeling thing. This is something you will understand, you will feel, and it comes through the peace of oneself. And it's like the more that you release the worry and the anxiety, and that you come into the peace of yourself, you just accept the world is going to play out in the right way for you. That your mission can be accounted for. And you would have already had, before you were born, how many people you would interact or you would affect, and you will start to sense that, or go into that through the business that you have been creating. So you've been waiting and waiting and waiting for this newfound business to actually have an opportunity to be, to flourish in this physical world. It's coming. And definitely 226 is going to be a birth of quite a few new businesses that are aligned with a more conducive, peaceful, communicative, as in feeling wise, energy with everything. Yeah. If anyone feels like they need a full-on message or something for themselves, please don't hesitate to book me as I do reading, channelings for you, one-on-ones through Zoom. So that's there too if you want it. But align with whoever you feel's right. If you feel you've got this, you've got this. That's fine. If you need a bit of help, there's nothing wrong with seeking help. I've sought help. Pride needs to be put aside. It's living in the moment and how we feel as we move along. And you'll feel a pull if you're supposed to come to me anyway. Is there anything else that's coming through? So beautiful, Sky. Yeah, it is a beautiful message, isn't it? See, I can't even read that. My dyslexia is shocking. I know it because I can see it in my mind, and I had the feeling of what it is. And there was I don't know the story. I just seen the pictures, but I know that was to do with ascended masters or something, or we're all a cog in a wheel that's turning, and we're all very, but we're also the whole wheel as well. We're learning that. We're learning that through these new frequency alignments, that we are the cog in the wheel and we are the wheel itself. Because without us as the cog, the wheel does not exist. It's like everything falls. So it's like if you went from this reality, from Earth, and then you completely, and I mean absolutely 1,000,000,000% forgot about Earth, which wouldn't happen. But if you did, does Earth even exist? When you're coming from your reality where Earth doesn't exist at all. See, this is why when something really truly exists to humanity and it's been put in denial, in a denial box, like we don't want to look at that, we don't want to see that, and that's happened a lot. But so the power of who we are, it will still seep through through the imagination. It will still seep through our stories, our fairy tales. It will still be there. So it's still present in our reality, but it's kind of like pushed to the side as an airy fairy kind of a nothing really to look out there. That's you're pathetic if you look at that. But that's where the power has been like held. The stories have to be held. It can't disappear completely because it is part of it's part of who we are as a whole. So it would never be able to disappear completely. The feminine side could never disappear completely. The masculine, how are they going to be born? So same with telepathy, always did exist in some form or another as well. Telekinesis and all of that is still held within the imagination. We still have these stories that come through with it. If it never existed, it never existed. But if it did, it would have seeped through in some way or another, some sort of fashion or another. Sorry, I've got all these messages coming through on my phone now. Is there anything else that's coming through for now in the energies at the moment? I really feel 2026 is going to be a doozy. You're going to have such like so many awoken with so many beautiful ideas and people starting to come together, gel together, and they're going to help each other and help lift those that are up to a better standard of living, physically, mentally, intuitively as well. And then there's going to be those that are fighting it, and when they fight it, they're going to lash out and really lash out. But you'll probably see that as a story over there. Unless you were already planned as a soul to be placed in this specific place when a disaster hits, then of course you will be in amongst it to shift the energy as quickly as you can. But you cannot hold on to these stories that are negative anymore, because this is the reason why we have been caught on this wheel of negativity and war and all of that. And more that we hold on to these stories and fear of it all, it consumes our energy field, and we start to bring in more of that energy. So some of us have to say no to that in order for those that are ready to go into the higher frequencies, to have a home to go to, have a place to go to. It's like having a neighborhood where there's a lot of fighting and that going on. And then there's one house that's just beautiful, love and that sort of thing. Well, the children that are trying to escape the bad negative homes need some home to go to, and they can knock on your door and feel at peace and that sort of thing. I had a next door neighbor that was an elderly couple, and they were really creative and beautiful, and I loved going to visit them. It was fun. We always created something. It was just so interesting. Yeah. So, book a reading, Sky. Oh, yeah, you didn't get in the group reading, did you? That's right. You didn't either. You don't need to pay. She took me to New York. My God. And everything. Like, she paid heaps. Okay. Is there anything else that's It's coming through at the moment. I think, yeah, they're like, you've got this. This isn't as bad as what you think. The more that you feel, the more that you feel freedom. It's really interesting. It's not the other way around. And the more that you'll become unique. We had it in our heart that, like, oh, we've got to go to oneness. We'll all become the same. No, it's the opposite. You become more unique. You understand more about yourself. You have no fear because you can shift the stories, because you don't hold on to stories as much. You move through moment to moment and how you feel and you know, what makes you feel good. You understand that you have this power now to do that. So the more you feel, the more boundaries you have in place, the more you can shift your story to align with what you really desire and wish. Yeah. So I will love you and leave you there, guys, until next time that I come online next week. I am in my head considering taking a couple of weeks off completely, because I haven't done that for years. And I mean years. Like, I keep going to, and then I'm like, oh, I don't know, maybe it won't happen because it's okay. I mean, my life's pretty easy at the moment. My only concern is, you know, new house sitting jobs and that sort of thing. But other than that, it's pretty easy. So, yeah. Anyway, I love you guys. Until next time. Bye.